In my first 13 months, I did just over $1 million in sales. I'm Claudia, I'm 24 years old and I run my own e-commerce brand. I was working as a casual in retail and I didn't know how to take that next step. I took that leap and invested in a few courses. I actually hit a winner. As soon as I found it, I hopped on a call with you, Dylan, and was like, okay, what do I do? Do I go all in?
I think you've had such consistency with the business. The system that we've built in order to identify the winners, once we've identified the winners, creating the system of sourcing that content and uploading it at the consistent frequency so we can test new creatives every single week, find new winners, and that's how you've been able to scale.
For me personally, I think mindset and belief is very important. Don't overthink it, just do it. If you're on the fence, don't hesitate, just do it, because honestly, you can literally change your life.
All right, Claudia, how you doing? Nice to do this with you. I really appreciate you taking time to sit down and do this with me.
Yeah, no, I'm good, thank you. Very good. And yes, I also appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. You've been a pleasure to work with the entire time. So I'm really excited to go through and hear a little bit more about your story and your transformation in your life and just your experience working together. But before we jump into all that stuff, I'd love if you could start, just for everyone that isn't already aware of who you are, if you could just sort of introduce yourself and what you sort of do for business.
Yeah, so I'm Claudia, I'm 24 years old and I run my own e-commerce brand.
I think something that's really cool that you just said there, 24, and you've already been in e-com for a couple of years now and you're really taking control of your life at such a young age. So I think like already, if anyone ever's thinking, I'm too young to start, I'm too young to chase a dream, you've been doing this since you were very young. So I think you're an inspiration for a lot of people already. So, but let's rewind a bit back to when we started working together and when you just started like thinking about, hey, I want to start a business. I don't really have much experience. I don't really have like anyone directly in my life that's an entrepreneur. Take me back to what you were doing for work and the really early days of you getting into e-com and what that looked like at the start, right when we started working together and just before.
Yeah, so basically this all stems from when I graduated uni. So I did a 3-year bachelor's degree of communication design, which is basically graphic design. Throughout those 3 years, I realized that working for someone was not going to be for me. I learned that very quickly. And I think if anything as well, also uni gave me slightly a bit of a negative experience in a way. So one thing that was really good about it though, is we did a course on packaging design. And that's where I really fell in love with the idea of creating my own product and my own brand. So that almost was a light bulb moment for me. And I knew straight away after uni, that's what I wanted to do. But it was a very dark time because everyone was applying for jobs. I didn't want to apply for a job. I was working as a casual in retail, and I didn't know how to take that next step. So there was no one to talk to, and back then, we're talking about like 3 years ago now, the online business space wasn't as known as it is now. It's still very foreign. So I took that leap and invested in a few courses. So I started off with dropshipping and I learned a few things from that. And then because I was very obsessed with the business world, I was watching a lot of podcasts, and that's where I came across your podcasts and your videos. And I watched heaps of Dylan's content, and I was very inspired. And I thought I resonated so much with your story and what you're about. And I knew that from the videos, you were super genuine. So straight away, I hit you up on Instagram. I sent you a DM, asked if you did mentoring. And to my surprise, you replied and you said you did. And you were actually in the process of building this mentorship. So once everything was finalized, we hopped on a call and that's when I joined the program. So when I did join the program, I was actually working for myself, dropshipping. I was not making anywhere what I'm doing now. I was making basically nothing, but I earned a bag here and there, a very small bag that would just keep me going. And yeah, once I joined the program with you guys, it was different because I wanted to pivot. I originally wanted to pivot from dropshipping and build a passion project. So I went through that process with you And then as I was building my passion project, I was still doing my dropshipping on the side. And I actually hit a winner. So this was something I'd never really experienced to this sort of magnitude before. So straight away, as soon as I found it, I hopped on a call with you, Dylan, and was like, okay, what do I do? Do I go all in with the dropshipping, turn it into an e-com brand, like branded dropshipping, and pause the passion project? And that's exactly what we decided to do. And the rest is sort of history. Like basically from then on, like I grew this dropshipping brand, if you want to call it. And I did, in my first 13 months, I did just over $1 million in sales.
I know. And that's, I really wanted to talk about that because someone at 24 years old started the first brand. And for you, when people think about drop shipping, you're not doing drop shipping in the way that most people will think about it, testing 10, 20, 30 products a week. You've built a real brand. The only difference is your fulfillment method is the dropship fulfillment method. But you've, again, found really good 3PLs and logistics setup. So there's really no difference. The only difference is the fulfillment method for you. But there are a couple of things you said there. And again, like Claudia, you were one of the first people we started working with like this structured mentoring like program that we built out. And there's been many evolutions, and we're always consistently adding things and trying to make it a more comprehensive program. How can we support you guys better? And I think it goes to show of you being like genuinely one of the first people we started working with, and you've been with us every step of the way, and we've grown and you've grown alongside us. So I think that says a lot. And I got a lot of people asking me for mentorship for a long time before we actually created a more structured mentoring program with group calls and one-on-one calls and all the resources and training videos. I used to just consult to, businesses that are already doing like low 7 figures a year and how to like turn into an 8-figure brand. But that really wasn't something I was passionate about. I love working people that are sort of like at that ground level, or level 1, level 2, and help build their life and take real ownership of that. And seeing how much you've grown, not just your numbers, doing 100K months and doing over $1 million in just over a year, which is insane for most people to even think about. And I just want anyone that's listening, and even if you think back to yourself, a year ago when you had first started this brand that we've scaled together, that you do $1 million in just over a year, I think you and a lot of people would be shocked and say, no way. Because like you were saying, you would drop shipping and doing drips and drops, and you'd have a little product that did a little bit well for a bit, and then it would sort of, die and not work out as well. But what it's turned into, I think, is like testimony to what's possible when you have a real clear structure and you do the work and you follow the system, and you've been extremely coachable, and you've been someone that doesn't let like their mindset get in the way. Just as much as we talk about e-com and what we can do to improve your ads or your content or your website, you're also very focused on mindset and how you become the best version of yourself. Because if you become the best version of yourself, as you know, as you've grown, your business has grown alongside you. So take me back to, you sent us that DM. You'd done some other little courses before, nothing to the extent of what we're doing, proper mentorship. But what were some of the problems you were facing? What was sort of missing from either your support or your skill set that you felt like, hey, if I want to take that next step and build a brand like you have done, what sort of problems were you facing, and what were you looking for in terms of support to help you take that next step?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was definitely struggling with mindset, because you don't understand, like people don't realize that it does take a little bit of grit, maybe a lot of grit, to keep persevering and stay resilient. I was doing this testing for I'd say a good 2 years before I joined Dylan, and it was very hard mentally not having people to go to for that one-on-one support, especially someone as credible as yourself who's achieved the success that I aspire to achieve one day. So being able to have those one-on-one calls with you, to like inspire and motivate, keep pushing, keep going. It was really, it was just really important. Another thing as well, the modules in the mentorship as well are extremely detailed. They're extremely easy to follow. And there's so many categories. It's basically everything you need, that you cannot go wrong. I don't know, like before I even joined the mentorship and I saw the program, I just remember thinking like, I need to do this. Like, I know I didn't have much in my account. Like, I really didn't, but I was thinking like, I literally need to do this. And yeah, it was the best thing.
Having that clarity and that maturity to realize what's going to take you to that next level at such a young age is something you should be super proud of, because you see it, and we have these conversations all the time. It would have been really easy for you to stick with your comfort zone and do what you were doing and just make a little bit of money here and there, really no more than you'd be making in that if you were doing retail full time, but at least you didn't have to go and work another job for someone. I want to talk about comparing you from that early stages of Claudia, the young dropshipper, trying to make things work, making a little bit of money here, then losing a little bit of money, compared to that version of Claudia and what your life looked like versus today. Have a really incredible business that's doing really well, consistently growing, doing 6-figure months, already hit over the $1 million mark in 13 months. How has your life changed from then till today? And then not just physically, how's your life changed? How do you feel differently waking up and working on your businesses day to day?
Yeah, so I'll go physically first. It's been pretty cool because I don't have to stress about, I guess, like money problems. Look, I'm fortunate enough to be living at home still with my parents. I'm so like blessed. But just at little things, like I've been wanting Invisalign for the past 8 years, and I was finally able to do that with a fantastic orthodontist and pay that in full, which was like crazy for me. I remember driving home from that appointment and just thinking, wow, this is so cool. Things like grocery shopping, not having to look at the price and just being able to really invest in my health and buy, organic produce, things that I would have been like, oh, maybe we'll just get the cheaper option, things like that. I don't know, just like normal everyday things. I'm the type of person, I'm still in my like business mode, grind mode. I don't really like, to go traveling yet and do all those like fun, exciting things, which I could, because I'm still in that, okay, no, we're not done yet, mode. But yeah, I guess just everyday little things. I don't have to stress. I really don't have to stress. If I need to help like my brother out or, like my parents out, like I can do that now. So, pardon? Yeah, exactly. Like it's honestly, it's one of the best things, because then as soon as you don't have money problems anymore, it just frees up your energy and you're able to focus on other things. You're not stressed. So yeah, that's one side of it. And then emotionally, I feel like I've learned and grown so much as an individual. I've become a lot more confident, definitely. And being another thing as well, being an entrepreneur, like business owner, working for yourself, it forces you to do the uncomfortable things. Like, because you are your own boss and, you're not relying on someone else, you have to be uncomfortable and just do the things that are going to make your business thrive, and in order to scale as well. So I think confidence has definitely been a big thing for me, and routine, structure, discipline, all of those things as well.
Without a doubt. And I want to go back to something you said, because it's something I didn't know before, but I think like it's really cool because a lot of people will be able to relate to that experience. Like you for years and years and years wanting to do Invisalign, which isn't cheap, and then you not relying on a loan, not relying on your parents. How did it feel? Like, did you reflect and realize like how like allow yourself to be so proud of yourself that you could go pay in full for something from the money you've made from your own business for something that you were thinking about doing in your life for years and years and years, and then that gave you back more confidence, more like just like that feeling that you get from being able to do that? Did you have that moment where you took the time to realize, hey, because I know you're a very humble person, Claudia, you're a very humble person, but like, hey, that's actually pretty effing cool that I've done this off my own back in my own business?
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember like as soon as I transfer like or wired that money, I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, I automatically thought back to, wow, a year ago, I wouldn't even really been able to do this, So it was a pretty special moment for me. And even like my parents were so happy for me, because they'd known I'd been wanting to do this for so long. And the fact that like I've been able to do this myself and not have to even think or stress about, the money for it, was really, it was really exciting. It just made me realize, I think when you're in this game, in this environment, you can get very caught up with everything. And when you start hitting certain levels, the satisfaction, it doesn't last for very long. So these little things really do bring you back down to earth, and have so much gratitude.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of hitting different levels and never being satisfied, I think there's a difference between never being content. We always want more out of ourselves in our lives. And I know you're still a very ambitious young woman who, like you said, we're far from finished on this journey. But talking about new levels and considering that just over a year into the business, you've hit $1 million in revenue, you've hit multiple six-figure months, consistently hitting six-figure months. You've built a business that's changed your life. And this is what we've done in the last year. Now, if we think about looking forward the next 6 to 12 months, what are some of the goals that you have and what do you want life to look like? Because it's no longer just a wishy-washy goal. We've set big targets and we've hit them. So we know your life can change a lot in a year. What do you think we can achieve and you can do with the businesses in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, honestly, I see myself doing the same thing, but just with more intensity on a larger scale. And with my passion project that I'm also working on the side, that's something that I'm really excited for. I don't want to sound too cocky or anything like that, but I'm aiming for, high 8 figures with this. And I know I have the capabilities and potential to do it as long as I continue to keep, actioning and implementing and taking the right steps. So, yeah.
Exactly. You stay consistent in test and learn and iterate off the back of that. You stay consistent with your mindset. You stay consistent with the process. You continue to lean on all the support channels. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think that's actually a really good point as well, because I have a lot of conversations with people that are new into e-com or just not even into e-com, thinking about their dreams and what they want to do with their lives. And I think it's a really good point. When you start an e-com business, like I'm an example of it and you're an example of it too, the first product you pick that does it, you don't need to pick a product that needs to be your life passion, right? The business that you've picked and the product that you've built this business around, it isn't necessarily the most exciting thing in the world that you wake up every day and the first thing you think about is, oh my God, this product, I can't wait to use it. But it has changed your life. It has built the platform for you to do things like pay Invisalign up front. Like you said, you've got the money there. You can help your family if you need to. If you really wanted to, if you weren't so focused on grind mode, you could go travel the world. You could go have all those experiences. But like you said, there's a new level, there's new goals, and what we're going to achieve together in the next 12 months is really, really exciting. And a lot of people will see that. We'll document that journey as well, because that's going to be very exciting. Now, we've talked about the future. We've talked about kind of, the milestones you've had, the 6-figure months, the 7 figures in 13 months. I'd love to know, though, what are some of the most impactful things that you've learned over the last year or so working with us?
Yeah, so for me personally, I think mindset and belief is very important, and that's something I've learned through you especially, and Joe as well. I also as well having like routine and structure, but also diversifying yourself with your media channels. So not just relying on one media channel like Meta, diversifying into Google, Pinterest, all those sorts of things. And basically I'm a huge overthinker, and that's something that I struggle with a lot, and I self-sabotage. So for me as well, learning and getting the guidance from you and Joe to basically not sweat those small things and just like keep persisting, keep going. Don't overthink it, just do it basically. But so many different things. Like I don't even know. I've just learned so much, because with what I've been able to achieve, like people can understand, I've invested in multiple, mentorships, courses. This is the only mentorship, I've joined and been able to achieve what I've achieved in such a short period of time. So yeah, but you guys teach like everything, like just literally everything.
All right, so we're back after little technical difficulties. I don't know where exactly we dropped out, Claudia, but you were talking about two things that stood out. Diversifying your media buyer channels and all your marketing channels, which has been really important for you. But something I think that I want to touch on, which is why I think you've had such consistency with the business, is not only the diversification, but the system that we've built in order to identify the winners. Once we've identified the winners, creating the system of sourcing that content and uploading it at the consistent frequency so we can test new creatives every single week, find new winners, and that's how you've been able to scale. So I think you deserve a lot of credit for the hard work you've put in as well. Yes, you work very closely with Joe and all that stuff, and we've created a system that works across niches, but you've done really well to do it so consistently. And that links back to your other point of mindset. And a lot of people, they come to me for e-com advice, and the first thing I start talking to them about is like mindset. And as you see, once you get into the program, the first training module before we even talk about anything e-com is mindset. And it's the fact of business, like your business will never outgrow you. Right? If you want to be successful in any form of business, it needs to start with you. You need to get what's between your ears right, because if you can get your head right and stop overthinking, stop self-sabotaging, stop doubting, and just focus on what you need to focus on and get those tasks done and eliminate the emotion, like focus on the input, not the output, because we can't always control the results. But if you stay consistent and you've got a process of testing and a framework that you're following, you will get there in the end. So I think that was really good points that you mentioned. And then like the final question I had for you was just if someone was on the fence about, going in, chasing their dream or working with us, what would you say to someone like that?
If you're on the fence, don't hesitate. I think it's super important to take action, and Dylan is the perfect person to be able to do that with. The mentorship has everything you need, and literally like from start to finish, if you're a complete beginner, do not be stressed, because like I said, the mentorship literally has every single step to succeed. You cannot go wrong as long as you stay consistent and you're super resilient with testing, with product research. You will eventually find a winner that you'll be able to turn into something so amazing, like I've done myself. And again, like if you're watching this video, you're already intrigued. You already know what you need to do. So just do it, because honestly, you can literally change your life, and you will change your life. If you take action and stay resilient, you will change your life, especially working so close with Dylan and Joe. You can't go wrong.
And you're testament to that. You are so testament to everything you just said there. So thank you so much for your very kind words. But again, I was in the same position, about 8.5 years ago now, when I was considering starting my first e-com brand. I had to put 10 grand into the business. By the time I put 10 grand in, I had less than $1,000 in my bank account. And everyone said to me at the time, Dylan, wasn't that such a big risk? You had only I think I had $700 or $800 in after we bought all the stock and did everything we needed to do. And I said, no, that wasn't the risk. The risk was staying in the life that you already know you're unhappy in. So if you're not going to take a bet on yourself to try and change your life, like I've done, like you've done, like so many people done before, then what's the point of this life, this whole experience, if you're not going to really go after what you really want? So Claudia, again, as I said, super proud of you and how far you've come in the last year. I know we're still just getting started, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for you. So thank you again for your time, and all the best for the future. I'm very excited to see what we're working on come to fruition.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Claudia.